Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host for today's broadcast, Insanely 13, as we're preparing to get underway for the first of 7 rounds for Sunshine's League 1960s GP Series here. Waiting for the final lineup, but as you look at the timing sheets here, most important thing to take note of, LMR Critical sitting on the pole. By far, he is the fastest person when it comes to single lap pace. However, qualifying was just 5 laps done in ghost mode. We don't know if he's going to be able to maintain this pace over the course of an entire event. He is in the Ferrari. The Ferrari a little bit underpowered compared to the other cars in the category, but it is significantly, and I mean significantly, lighter than the others. Meaning that through the corners, it's going to be more borderline impossible to actually catch and actually do anything with the Ferrari when you have that thing properly dialed up. More notably, though, is that ludicrous speed, despite not qualifying anywhere near the front because they were not able to get a clean lap in that thing, ludicrous speed honestly has pace to potentially make something happen up the front. Douche Machine also has a good amount of pace today, and he is going to be starting up near the front, row 1 on the outside on merit. There's also what needs to be shouts to both LMP Lynx and DTS TBK. Both TBK and Lynx were actually on pace to put down really good laps on their final run. But going through the large sweeper turn 2, DTS TBK ran a little bit wide, spread a bunch of dirt into the air. It blinded the track, and Lynx, along with several other drivers, I believe Larry was one of the others, ended up having to all swerve to kind of avoid, all instinctual because they couldn't properly see the track. And it kind of screwed up a lot of people's laps at the very end of qualifying. But we're looking at a 27-lap race. Also of note, for the drivers who are in the Eagle, Raygun versus Zombie and Ludicrous Speed, there is a possibility, not a guarantee, but there is a possibility that these cars might find themselves low on fuel and may actually have to make a stop midway through the race. No one else is anticipating having those same issues. It's just those two. If we get a few laps under yellow, things could be interesting, except for the fact that here in the F1 GP series, there are no yellow flags. You are guaranteed 27 laps of green flag racing throughout today's event. Also of note, as you can look at these cars, straight from the 60s, there is no downforce on these. It is all mechanical grip and engine power. With no downforce and almost no weight in these cars, it makes it very difficult to actually keep control. Even in a straight line, these things are a handful. Going through corners is extremely difficult. You almost need to kind of drift and slide the rear of the car out. It's almost power sliding through most of the higher speed corners. Low speed, it's not as much of an issue, even though the extreme weight of the car and the fact that the tires are way away from the center of gravity off to the sides really upends how things handle. But in all reality, this is way different from what we normally would see in a Forza Racing League. These cars don't really get raced a whole lot. Usually, even when they do, there's not a whole lot of actual on-track racing. I won't lie. I don't expect to see a whole lot of driver versus driver fighting here. It's very easy for the tires of these cars to get interlocked and end up causing the two to get glued together pretty much and send each other off the circuit. But be on the lookout. You will definitely be able to see here who has talent and who does not have talent in this league, just based on how well drivers are able to control their cars. They're waiting on Racing Jason right now to finish properly getting his car ready in that Lotus Type 49. Also, Mr. Sunshine himself is not able to host today's event, so we do want to give a shout and a thanks to Vera Tabianks, I believe I'm saying that right, for hosting the race today. And we do want to say thank you, Vera, for doing that. As we're waiting to get underway here at Monza, we will be running Monza with the front straightaway chicane, so we are not going to actually get to see what the true top speed of these cars could potentially be. We'll have to wait until we get to Spa-Francorchamps and Nürburgring Nordschleife to get an idea there. But it's going to be a 10-driver field for today's event. Just staying by, waiting to get underway here. Apparently there's still some issues with Jason getting everything properly underway here. We are hoping to get underway by the top of the hour, though. For those of you who still want more European-style racing goodness, tomorrow at about the same time, we will be running the third event of AGRL's F1 2022 series, so keep an eye out on that. Here we are. Now I'm getting it away. Again, LMR Critical, by far the fastest person in qualifying. Can he make it work from the pole, potentially lead all the laps today? We're not anticipating pit stops for anyone with the exception of maybe the Eagle Westlake duo. And they're already off. Smash holds the inside line. The lone German in the field, but he now falls side by side with Apex Blade, and Blade has the advantage coming out. And now here comes Larry B the G, but Critical is absolutely gone at the moment as they now send it through turn 2. The large sweeper, and here comes DTS. He is already up into the 5th position. DTS CPK, oh, and Racing Jason out into the dirt farther back on the grid. Really twitchy sideways action going on farther back. Field still really gathered up as we see Larry trying to keep DTS TPK behind him. They look ahead at that yellow machine of Dutiash. I should just call him Machine. I know I'm butchering his name, and I am very sorry for that. These cars are fast enough that while there is no downforce, there's absolutely enough drag off of these cars to give you a significant amount of draft in a straightaway, and that has helped TBK pull ahead of Larry as he now sets his sights for the podium positions. But second place at the moment is Apex Blade in that pink machine. He looks behind, you can see Machine holding the inside. TBK falls in behind. Now he'll take the inside on corner exit. Drag race down the front straightaway, sorry. Already, Critical has opened up a nearly 1.5 second gap over the rest of the field. TBK continues to fight. Larry is right there, ready to capitalize, in Ludicrous Speed, who also is a very, very fast driver today in these cars. He is back there at 6. He could make this a 4-way fight if TBK takes a long time to make it up into the 3rd position. Critical is gone, but a very interesting battle developing for the final step on the podium. And for Apex Blade, he just wants this fight to last as long as possible. The longer these drivers are fighting, the less and less likely they will be able to pluck 2nd place from him. Down the first of the 2 back straightaways now. They'll head under the bridge. TBK on the outside, Machine on the inside. Side by side, but TBK backs out very early. Doesn't want to go side by side through a Scary here. Gotta be very careful over those curbs on both the inside and the outside. These cars are extremely sensitive to any change. And those curbs have a habit of absolutely throwing them sideways. TBK to the inside. With the draft, I think TBK is faster in a straight line. But without the draft, I think they're even. TBK inside. Machine has the outside, though. This means that he has a longer straight line. He'll have more time to get to a higher speed. And Machine is just barely within Apex Blade's draft. And I think that's going to be all that he needs to stay ahead of TBK for the moment. TBK lunges under braking, side by side, very nearly clips the back of Apex Blade. It doesn't matter. TBK is now by Machine and now sets his sights on Apex Blade for second position. And for TBK, all of this, and he's surely wondering, man, if I just didn't have that spin in the last lap of qualifying, I could be up there. I could be fighting for the win. Blade, more than 3 seconds off of critical right now, and now he has to fight to defend against TBK. Ludicrous Speed is now there in the 5th position, waiting to see if he can crack his way forward. Machine, very clean in qualifying, and that gave him a great starting spot. But already, here we are on lap 3, and he has dropped out of the podium positions and may fall even farther behind than that. Big twitch for that yellow Machine there. Here comes that Eagle Westlake that Ludicrous Speed is driving. And farther up, you can see TBK right there behind Blade. The roll hoop cam. You can see TBK, he takes a slightly alternate line from Blade. I'm guessing he doesn't want to be in Blade's draft going into Parabolica there. Blade holds the inside, but TBK shoots out of there like a bloody cannon. Already TBK coming to the inside. Neck and neck for that second position now. Blade has the moment ahead. TBK to the inside. There's just nothing he can do. Number 304 is just so much faster in a straight line. Blade is a little bit nimbler through the corners, but not enough to compromise TBK's incredible straight line speed. So now Blade finds himself starting to fall through the grid. As we ride on board the hood of Ludicrous Speed's Machine. Second, third, fourth, fifth, all right on top of each other right now. 6th and 7th are also in a little bit of a battle of their own, a little bit farther back, but this is where the most action is happening right now. Ludicrous faster than both of these drivers ahead of him. He did not have a great run coming onto the straightaway, but superior straight line speed is due to better engine setup, and the draft lets Ludicrous kind of neutralize any bad run he has out of these corners. Oh, and TBK goes off! TBK goes off, and he'll drop to third. He'll drop to fourth. He's going to drop behind Ludicrous Speed as well. And Blade goes back into second, and now it is Ludicrous's turn to try and make something happen. He looks to the inside. There's just no room. Blade and Machine are going to hold it off, and that's going to really compromise Ludicrous coming onto the front straightaway. TBK has way more speed. He's going to go to the outside of Ludicrous, side by side already for fourth. TBK has the draft off of Machine as they come across the start-finish line to start lap 5. Ludicrous is going to just barely slide ahead. Now he looks to the inside. Does he make a dive? Machine, big lock up in the braking. Is he going to make the corner? He barely makes it, but he's going to lose a position to Ludicrous in the process. And now TBK comes around the outside, which will turn to the inside in the following corner. And Ludicrous is now up into the podium positions. And TBK is already moved back in the 4th, and LMP Lynx is already there in 6th, now looking to take a spot in the top 5, the upper half of the field. Ludicrous missed the braking zone in the chicane, and now TBK is going to blitz by him around the outside without too much issue. So mistakes compromising the drivers from 3rd on back, and Apex Blade, he may not have been the fastest in qualifying, but he has made the fewest mistakes out of everyone who is not your leader. LMR Critical just absolutely sailed into the distance, and he is more than 6.5 seconds ahead at the moment. He has been adding about at least 1.1 second every lap, closer to 1.3 seconds, honestly, per lap to his lead. Oh, Machine gets really sideways back there. In fact, he got so sideways, Lynx has gotten by him. And Larry B the G is now closing up as well. Big lockup, and that's Ludacris. Oh, Ludacris has missed the braking zone once again, and it's going to bring Lynx into it and Machine, and they're going to have a chance to maybe do something to Ludacris' speed. Now, Ludacris is in that Eagle. They've got great straight line speed. Lynx has the draft. Machine has the draft as well. Doesn't look like they're able to do anything to him right now. For the moment, it calms down. Then it gets under braking. Machine to the inside of Lynx. Can't make it stick. Larry is now going to go to the inside of Machine coming out of the chicane. A little bit of side-by-side, tire-to-tire contact. Machine holds the position over Larry. Nose to nose, Larry misses the braking zone in the chicane. Machine will take the position. Lynx working on Ludacris' speed. He'll have the inside, but Ludacris on the outside has a little bit more track to properly keep that car straightened out and give it a good run down the following straightaway. And TBK has caught Blade again. He got by Blade earlier. Can he overtake Blade for good without having an incident? TBK on the outside. Blade just kind of squeezes him. The room is there, but TBK, if he wanted to go for it, he would really compromise himself through a Scary. Oh, Blade did not have that great exit that he needed. But he did have a better entrance than TBK. Has opened the gap just a bit on him. So while LMR Critical sails away with an easy win, LMR Critical honestly has enough of a gap that even if he had an accident, I believe that he could just recover and not lose too much time. He is so far gone on the circuit right now. Blade stays ahead of TBK. Ludacris stays ahead of Lynx for the moment. 6 cars from 2nd all the way back to 7th. All kind of paired off amongst each other, and all within sniffing distance of each other, pretty much. TBK looking to the outside, backs out of it. Doesn't want to go side by side into this chicane here. Just taps Blade in the rear. And Blade did not have the exit that he needed, but this straight, I don't think, is long enough for TBK to make a lunge. And Ludacris is right there. Ludacris is going to have the draft off of these two when they come onto the 2 back straights here. TBK dropped the tire to the dirt. Oh, Larry has gone off back there in 7th. Ludacris has the draft on TBK. TBK pulls up alongside Blade into the braking zone. Oh, TBK went side by side there. It was not a good idea. And now he's lost a bunch of time to Blade. And now Ludacris is there making it a fight for 3rd. And he had to back out of it, sadly. And that brings Lynx back into the fight for 4th then. TBK got by Blade earlier and then threw it away. Oh, and TBK has a big lockup. Wow, did he ever lock up. And while TBK honestly has race-winning pace, he does not have race-winning consistency. He fell from 2nd to 5th earlier, now he falls from 3rd to 5th. He's right there behind Lynx and Lucas. We know he's fast enough to blitz by these two without issue. But doing it without incident is a little bit of a difficulty, and we have gotten it deep enough into the race that drivers who just got lucky with qualifying, like Machine, they've kind of fallen back into where their actual pace is going to put them throughout the day. And I am pleasantly surprised. I said I did not expect to see a whole lot of wheel-to-wheel action. And in a technical sense, yes, not like drivers are running side by side, corner in, corner out, but there is a lot of actual legitimate fighting going on throughout the field here. And it's put on a lot of really interesting show. Yes, the leader is absolutely blitzed away, but beyond that, this is some incredible fighting we're seeing. Ludicrous speed, with Lynx behind him trying to make a move on Blade. He's got draft, he's got great straight line speed. You can't really go side by side into a Scary unless you want to cause a potential issue. Oh, Ludicrous all over the curves, and it's going to kill his run out. But Lynx had an even worse time, and Lynx falls off the back of Speed. And now here comes TBK to the outside of Lynx. This gives Ludicrous a bit of breathing room. He'll go to the outside of Apex Blade. Side by side as they go into Parabolica. Blade holds the advantage for now. As TBK is going to utilize his Lynx mistake to try and blitz by him behind. The fight for second continues, though. Ludicrous goes to the inside. Blade outside, neck and neck as they head into the chicane. A little bit of contact between the two. Blade holds the position, but Ludicrous with the better top end is going to outrun Blade into the following corner. And Ludicrous now moves up into the second spot. And here comes TBK behind him once again. He dives to the inside of Blade. Man, that was Lynx actually. That was not TBK, that was Lynx who did it. And Lynx makes contact with Blade in the process. Still stays ahead of TBX. And Machine is still on the very edge of this fight. Ready to capitalize. If one of these four have a mistake, he will go by them once again. Alright, so this is where things get interesting for Ludicrous. He doesn't have another car to utilize now to pace himself off of. He needs to be confident where he's saying his braking zone. He can't just go and base his runs off of the car ahead of him now. This is where he's been his weakest, the Scary, but his weakness has been the kind of scenario that he's kind of forced down to the rest of the field. Oh, he's into the dirt. Oh, wow, is he into the dirt. And that will let Blade have a run. Here comes Blade. Here he goes around. Here comes Lynx. He's going to go around the outside as well. Now, Ludicrous has enough speed. He'll defend on the inside. Side by side as they head into the final corner once again. Blade puts the power down. A little bit of contact. They're all right on top of each other, but Blade has the position. Lynx is going to power out on the outside as well. Ludicrous falls in line behind again, but he does have the straight line speed. He could potentially make a move on Lynx coming into turn one. About a third of the way through the event, Ludicrous goes to the inside. Neck and neck for the position. Blade is just ahead. Blade needs to make sure he doesn't get hit by Ludicrous, and Ludicrous makes it 2 overtakes in a single corner. Ludicrous, despite making a mistake in a Scary, the straight line speed that that Eagle has means that he's able to go right back into second. Incredible stuff. And all this fight means that Machine is now there. He's no longer in a position where, oh, I can capitalize, although he obviously would, but Machine could honestly start fighting on merit with TBK for the 5th spot. Come off the top of the track, Blade is right there in Ludicrous's draft. But we know that Ludicrous's Eagle has a way higher top speed. The biggest question, of course, fuel. There is a possibility that the Eagles may run out of fuel in today's event. Blade now try to fight with Lynx, but Lynx around the outside is going to get him. Blade has a very solid car. It doesn't really lead to him making many mistakes. The problem is, though, that everyone around him is just faster. Larry has gotten by Machine. Has something happened to Machine? He has made a stop. So fuel may become an issue for some of these drivers. Your leader at the moment, though, is this man here, LMR Critical. fuel is definitely not going to be an issue for him. 81% still in the tank. But for Ludicrous Speed here in second, he has 54% in the tank. We are not yet at the halfway point of this race. I have bad news, but Ludicrous Speed, despite this incredible performance he's putting on now, he, in that Eagle, will more than likely have to make a pit stop. Again, no yellow flags in this series. There's nothing that's going to slow the pace. And in all reality, Ludicrous does not have the ability to let off enough to save that many laps of fuel. Honestly, Ludicrous's fuel tank looks like it would only last about 22, 23 laps. That would not be enough. There's no way you could save 4 to 5 laps of fuel around here. You might as well just make a stop. The biggest benefit for him is that he's kind of caused the rest of the field behind to get all backed up, and he does have a pace advantage over many of these drivers. But I don't know if it's going to be enough of a pace advantage that he'll be able to get back ahead of them after making his stop. Lynx in third position, similar fuel numbers to your leader. Fourth, Apex Blade. Again, similar things, TBK, who is in fifth. Yep, it's just the Eagles that have a significant issue with fuel at the moment. Although Larry B has come into the pits for some reason. Very bizarre circumstance, to say the least. Raygun also in a low fuel scenario. He has gone ahead and made a stop. Veritabu not going to have an issue with that. Meanwhile, back near the front, or not at the front, but near the front, second position, the fight continues. Ludicrous holds station over Lynx, with TBK behind. So the question becomes, when does Ludicrous make his stop? I think Lynx is basically going to lock up a second place position. He is definitely faster than Blade. As long as he doesn't make any mistakes, he should be able to walk home second. The fight, honestly, is going to be from third on back. Blade has already fallen 1.6 seconds off of Lynx. The question is just going to be for Ludicrous. How long can he go until he makes a stop? And then when he stops, how many cars can he get back by? Bit of a fight here for 8th and 9th. Machine runs right behind Vera. We know that Machine is way faster than Vera, but overtaking smoothly here is very difficult, to say the least. TBK might be making a stop. In fact, it looks like a lot of drivers are making a stop just out of paranoia. And the more drivers making a stop, the better off it will put Ludicrous and, to an extent, Machine overall. As TBK, now that he has stopped, I'll drop him back to 8th behind Machine, actually. All 10 of our starters still running at this point in the event. Machine still caught behind Vera, and TBK is coming with speed. Here comes Machine on the outside of Vera, neck and neck as they come to the top of the track here. The Lesmos corners. Easy open and shut overtake. Took a few more laps longer to make it stick than we anticipated, but he has made it happen now. And your leader, Critical, has pitted. So maybe I got the information wrong. Maybe there is a required pit stop for the entire field. If so, that puts the drivers in the Eagles in a much better scenario. Lynx has gone ahead and put it. So it is now Ludacris and Apex Blade who leads without any issue at this stage in the event. A large number of these drivers went ahead and just decided to do an easy split down the middle. Blade's actually closed in a bit on Ludacris. Again, overall, the real leader is going to be this man here, Critical. He has spent most of the day in clean air, and once the top three ahead all make their stops, Critical will re-inherit the race lead without issue. Very smooth with that car. Yeah, Blade has actually caught right up to Ludacris, and Ludacris has made his stop. So Blade now leads his lap today. And Jason, still out on circuit, will inherit second position. There's actually a possibility that Jason could still end up leading a lap today if Blade pits before he does. Third place, LMR Critical will re-inherit the race lead once the top two make their stops. It's an agonizingly long pit road here, especially if you're in the Eagle, where your car's strength is in a straight line. Now, if you actually look at it, Lynx has actually ended up ahead of Ludacris, so that lap in cleaner air has actually put Lynx ahead of Ludacris at this stage in the event. And Machine is actually closed on both of them. TBK is still behind Machine by a significant amount, and so is Larry. So this series of stops has really upended what's going to be the fight for second here. And we still don't really know where Blade is going to end up. As I say that, Blade has lost a position to Racing no, never mind. My information was wrong. For a moment, it said that Blade is behind Jason. He is not. So whenever Blade makes a stop, this will really be the final nail on the coffin for deciding how and who is going to be in the fight for second position. But when will Blade make his stop? Lynx and Ludacris are still right on top of each other for what is currently the fourth position. That Eagle's biggest strength is in the straight line, so this is the portion of the track where he's going to be doing the best at. About a second out at the moment and closing. Boy, does he close down that front straightaway. My goodness. Oh, did he miss the braking zone? Yes, he missed it. And that'll work out wonderfully in Lynx's favor. That might be enough to let Lynx inherit second or third overall. Again, we don't know where Blade is going to end up once he makes his stop. What in the world? Oh, and Lynx! No, and Lynx, who was fighting for what could have been a second position, has just DNF'd out of the race. So this means Ludacris is now fighting with Blade in a very unique way. The two of them are not able to see each other on the track. And it's all going to come down now. When does Blade pit? And if all these laps in clean air has helped Ludacris more or helped Blade more? Critical winning this race is basically a surefire conclusion. He is third now, but the two drivers ahead still have yet to pit. But Lynx, who had put on such a strong performance, finds it all dashed away. Oh, just taps the dirt there, does Ludacris. And you can see Machine back there. If Ludacris pushes too hard, ends up losing a bunch of time, Machine is right there to start taking the fight to that number 40 on merit here on the circuit. Turning the ticker from time to leader intervals. Ludacris 37 seconds out. How long will it take to complete a run on pit road? Also, fight for second. Critical is held up behind Jason. I don't think Critical's too worried about it, though, because Ludacris, who is the next closest person who has already made a stop, he is not anywhere close to challenging Critical, and now Jason has gone off circuit. Hasn't pitted, Jason just has a car that seems to be ill-handling. He is now fallen behind Critical. Yeah, Jason really seems to be struggling with his car. A lot more than we were anticipating. Field mostly spread out at this point. Vera, 9th, last of the cars still running. She's not likely to go a lap down, though, because your current leader, Apex Blade, does still have to make his stop. When does he do it? Does he try and wait until the last possible moment to make it? Does he try pulling a Jeff Burton and pitting, coming to the checkered flag? Famously, in the 2002 NASCAR Winston All-Star race, Jeff Burton did that and came home second in the stint that he was running. It'd be a very controversial thing if that's what he tried doing. Nine laps to go. So we have completed 2/3 of the race at this stage. TBK, who had so much speed, he's just not been consistent with it. That dirtied his... Because of that, he dirtied all of his laps in qualifying. And in the race, he got as high up as a second at one point. But he's just not consistent compared to the other drivers, and that has actually dropped him back to 7th, which is relatively close to where he actually started this race at. It's got to be annoying because it's not like qualifying would have fixed anything. Yeah, he would have started close to the front, but there's no guarantee he wouldn't have still made his mistakes. The mistakes he's made has been in traffic and by himself on the track that have really compromised him. We really anticipated a lot higher of a result for him. Similar with Larry. Oh, as I say that, Larry has completely botched the chicane there. I honestly thought we'd see Larry fighting for a higher position a lot longer, but it has not worked out. Machine qualified front row and fought very valiantly at the front for a long time. And it looks like, I think, Machine is going to be in a position to maybe get third. I think fourth is pretty much guaranteed at the worst, but he might get third. So yeah, everyone still has a mandatory pit stop. Everyone with the exception of our first and third place drivers, Racing Jason and Apex Blade, have already performed their mandatory stop. We are still waiting to see where Blade ends up on track in relation to Ludicrous speed. The gap between first and third at the moment, as Racing Jason has made his stop, 37 seconds. So it stayed relatively consistent between the two of them. I think Blade's going to end up ahead of Ludicrous. The big thing, though, is that if Blade ends up ahead of Ludicrous, Ludicrous's car is already a monster in a straight line. If he gets this draft off of Blade, the fight will absolutely go in Ludicrous's favor. He can outrun these drivers into nearly every corner. I think Blade knows that. He's going to wait until the last possible lap to make his stop to negate Ludicrous's advantage as much as possible. As I say that, Blade just keeps dropping tires into the dirt. I think he's pushing really hard, trying to just open up, stretch out that gap as much as possible. He's got it up to 38 seconds at the moment. I think Blade's going to do it. I think Blade's going to get second overall, honestly. Because although he's dropping tires into the dirt, it's not compromising his laps too much. Blade will be coming up on the back of the field very shortly here. 7 laps to go. What had been an intense fight at the from second all the way back to 6th has really just evolved into a three-way with a bunch of drivers all just trying to tick laps off. Apex Blade, Ludicrous Speed, and Machine all just trying to tick laps for their fight for second, third, and fourth overall. The rest of the field pretty much all solidified in their position on track. And DTS TBK has dropped out of the event as well now. So we started with 10 drivers. We are now down to 8. Still waiting on this man to make a stop. But he has opened the gap against third to 39, nearly 40 seconds. I see no way that Blade doesn't come out of here and hold second position. I think he might be far enough ahead as well that when he does it, he'll be able to break the draft and keep Ludicrous from gaining the draft to bring the fight back against him. 39 seconds is the gap between first and third. No other active fights on the track right now. Critical, who is in second, led the largest part of this race. I think he's probably gonna end up with most laps led, more than likely. Just absolutely no one has been anywhere close to him when it comes to pace today. Only reason he's not leading now is he made his stop right at the race's halfway point. You can just see how smooth he is with that Ferrari through the corners. Yes, he may be down power in the straights, but it doesn't matter. It's so smooth through the corners. He carries so much speed. Look at him taking a Scari here. So smooth. And that car is so well hooked up, it only gets a little bit twitchy when he puts the power down on the curbs coming out of it. Most of the other drivers we've seen are completely sideways, crisscrossing, trying desperately to keep control of the car. Critical, no issue whatsoever. 5 laps to go at this point. For ludicrous speed, the dreams of potential second place finish seems to be fading. He knows that if it was mano-y-mano on track, he could most definitely do it. He has a straight line speed, and with the draft, that Eagle Westlake machine is incredible. But running solo, that draft does not help him. And the longer Blade stays out, the more and more the fight's going to swing in Blade's favor. Ludacris is starting to close the gap back down just a bit. But I think it might end up being too little too late. Still waiting on Blade to make his stop. He's the only driver who has yet to make a stop in this event. It will be 4 laps to go at the line. You can actually see 7th and 8th place, Vera and Raygun ahead. I don't think he's going to catch them in time to lap them. With 4 laps to go, it is a possibility that he does catch them. And if he catches them before he makes a stop, that could actually take away from the lead he has built up over Ludacris. In fact, Ludacris has actually closed it down to less than 38.5 seconds. Blade, horrible run through the chicane that time. It may be so tempting to think, oh, well, he's cutting the chicane, straightening it, should make it faster. That's a tempting thing to think, but these cars are so bloody twitchy, and they're extremely sensitive to the slightest changes in curbs and the road underneath them. It makes it really hard to keep them stable and under control. I don't think Blade's actually gaining much time trying to straight line those sections of the track. Raygun now gets by Vera just ahead. And yes, Blade has caught these two. Right on the roll hoop camera. Does he fight with them or does he pit now? No, he's going to stay with them on track for a lap. This could work out great in Ludacris's favor if Blade is not able to... If Blade spends more time flying with them than actually benefiting from a draft off of these two, Ludacris might be able to leapfrog Blade. 3 laps to go. When does Blade make his stop? I do hope that Blade knows that he is required to make a stop. It'd be a travesty to see him get disqualified from the run he's put on today due to not making his mandatory pit stop. Right behind Vera. She was nice enough to host the lobby today. Blade goes around the outside, gives her plenty of room on the inside, but he's by one of the two. So Vera is the first driver to go a lap down. Now sets his sights on Raygun. Ludacris is still 38.3 seconds out. So Vera did not hold up Blade very much. And the gap seems to have stabilized in the 38-second range. Raygun is in another Eagle Westlake machine, so that thing's going to be a little bit twitchier, slower in the corners, but a lightning bolt into straights. And here comes Blade. He's making his stop now. So the fight is on. We will see Critical take the lead shortly here. With 2 laps to go. Machine has actually closed in on Ludacris just a bit. And Blade is already starting to roll down pit lane. Ludacris hasn't even cleared the final corner yet. I think Blade is going to stay ahead of Ludacris. Ludacris has a car that can win in any duel. But when it comes to lap time versus lap time, I don't think that Eagle can actually do it. Blade is out of pit road. Not only is Blade out of pit road, he is way down. He is already in the chicane. Yes, Blade, by staying out as long as he can, he is going to come home in second position. As long as he doesn't make any mistakes on these cold tires. Good thinking on Blade's part. Knowing how to counter the strength in Ludacris's machine will suggest make sure you weren't engaging with him on track. And it will be a second place position. But the man who's going to win today is this man here. LMR Critical just has about a lap and 2 corners to go. Dominating today. Absolutely no one has been in his ballpark when it comes to speed or consistency. And the nice nimbleness of the Ferrari has helped him bring it home to a victory in its homeland. Final corner, then will be 1 more lap. And Machine, after everything's said and done, Machine will end up starting second, only falls down to 4th. Honestly, could have been a lot worse, but Machine will come home 4th. That's a result that I believe that he can be proud and happy with. Bit of a fight has developed once again for the last place on the track. Vera has closed back in on Raygun. You can see there's your leader back there, but it is coming to the checkers, so this fight might go to the end, but I think these two are still going to finish on the lead lap as long as they don't have an instant in these final 2 corners. LMR Critical. By far, the fastest man today. Fastest man all day. Swings it around the final corner. Puts the power down. It is Grazi Ragazzi to the Ferrari team as LMR Critical will take home the checkered flag for the season opener of Sunshine League 60's GP cars here at Monza. And Apex Blade may not have had the strongest car in a mano-y-mano fight, but it uses the big brain strats. And he will come home with a second in that Pink Panther Jaguar. Congratulations to that podium finish, Blade, and ludicrous speed. It was unsure if he'd even be able to run. He was in a bad position with fuel, but he has been incredible on track and fighting. He will come home third. Machine, waking up in the middle of the night, German time, is going to come home for a fourth place position. Larry B. the G will round out the top 5 in the other Ferrari. Fifth place for the number 5. And Racing Jason will drag a frustrating, hard-to-control Machine all the way home. That Lotus will come home in 6th. In the end, this fight between Raygun and Vera is not over. These two are still going at it, actually. Raygun opening up the gap on Vera down the straights, though. I think Raygun may have it. Just 2 corners left. Don't botch it, and Raygun can still come home 7th. Vera absolutely sends in the corners. Oh, big slide, though, and a scoring for Raygun. This fight might go down to the last corner. Power down for Raygun. He is in a car that has a great straight line speed component, but you cannot afford to blow this final corner. Vera is there, and Rayna capitalize if you make a mistake. Lock up by Raygun. He's sideways. He's way off the apex. He is completely sideways, completely drifting it. You need to put the power down. You can't afford to lose control here. The gap is closing. Vera is closing, but the power comes down. And in the end, yes, Raygun will come home 7th, and Vera will bring it home to an 8th place finish. All right, and that will bring the end here to the first of our 7-round season here for Sunshine League 60 GP series. Would love to be able to see if we're going to be able to talk with our race winner here. Hopefully Critical will be able to join the party. Real quickly, though, we will start with our other drivers in the podium finishing positions. Second place, Apex Blade. Blade, go ahead, include your audio. Fantastic drive out there. One not of bronze, but of brains. You knew that that Eagle Westlake machine was way better than you in a mano-y-mano fight, so you just stayed out as long as you could, made sure that you could not sniff the draft. Brilliant strategy call to come home second. What do you have to say about that run today, Blade? Blade, can you hear me?
Bruh. Dead. I think he's... He's doing a bit for finishing P2, everybody.
Yeah,
P2
obviously.
at the Pink Panther. I'm happy. I will take it. Oh, man. That was a fun race. I enjoyed it. Super happy with this thing's fuel mileage. Absolutely sipped fuel all the way through. Straight line speed does not exist. A solid 10, 20 mile an hour down on basically everyone. Very happy I could bring it home P2, though. And we're going to look forward to 2 weeks' time at wherever the hell we're going.
All right, well, fantastic drive. Do you think you can replicate this result at other tracks, especially other tracks where the speed differential isn't going to matter that much? Do you think you can replicate these kind of finishes throughout the rest of the season?
Rio should be interesting, I'll say that. I feel like this thing's decent in the corners. Just got to make sure we can survive, really, at Rio. Otherwise, yeah, great day again, and great way to start the season.
All right, thanks for jumping in and talking with us. Fantastic drive out there. Now I talk with our third place finisher, Ludicrous Speed. Ludicrous, not a great run in qualifying whatsoever, but you had some incredible pace, brought it home with a third place finish, had some incredible fights throughout the first half of the race. What do you have to say about your run today, mate?
I think it was a pretty good first outing. I feel like I might have gotten P2 just with about 8 to go, kind of got out of the rhythm, started losing time, and then a nice little meeting with Sir Grav L kind of did me in there. So, kind of that first place car, who was it?
Critical.
I'm blanking on the name already because my brain's flat. Critical, thank you. Yeah, that's a fast machine, man. Hoping to keep the podiums a rolling. Probably just gonna try and play the long game, and check consistency is key.
All right, fantastic drive out there, mate. Just great job. Definitely can be proud about your run today. Anything else you want to say before we move on down the order?
Yeah, I don't know if that double overtake dive bomb in the turn 1 was caught on stream, but that was totally by accident.
No, I saw that. I thought you set that up. I was like,
No.
oh, he might be able to get one of these back. You got both. And I was like, oh, wow, I did not anticipate that.
No, the Eagle is very specific on when you shift down when braking, and I totally goofed up going from 4th to 3rd, and I'm like, I'm gonna hit somebody, and I'm glad, whether it was by sheer luck or their good awareness, they gave me a hole and I took it and just floored it out, and I'm like, oh, I can't believe that worked. But I paid for it for spinning into the gravel with 2 to go, so...
All right, fantastic drive, mate. And now we want to go ahead and talk with our 5th place finisher, Larry B. the G. Larry, you were in the other Ferrari today. Compared to Critical, it didn't seem like you really had it under you. What went wrong today, mate?
Oh, yeah, I felt like I had pretty decent speed, but just couldn't quite keep it up in the second half. But I mean, I feel I kept it on track and brought home fifth. So we'll move on to next week and hopefully it'll be better.
All right, well, hopefully things do go better next week. Next week, track's not as straight line speed focused, so it might fit the strengths of those Ferraris a little bit better. We'll be really interested to see what you can do there. Racing Jason, you came home in the 6th position today, and the Lotus really seemed to have a really rough day. What was it like from your end? Because that car looked evil from my perspective. Well, it was. You made it to the end of the race, and that's more than what we can say about others, at least. The rest of the season, you're not going to be able to rely on that straight line speed as much. Do you think you'll be able to figure something out before we get to the next event? All right. Well, I appreciate your honesty, and hopefully we'll get to see you really hustle and bustle that thing around, because it is fun, although a little scary watching you struggle with that out there. All right, we want to go... Yeah, all right, we want to go ahead and talk with our 7th place finisher, Raygun versus Zombie. Raygun, you and Vera had some interesting fights at the back of the field going to the end. What was that race like from your perspective?
I qualified 4th, which was surprising, but not really, because I have good straight line speed with this car, but everything else is just it just doesn't turn as much as I wanted to. But the battle with Vera at the end, that was really good. I mean, only thing I could have gotten at the end of this race due to many meetings with the tire barrier, but P7, I'll take it.
All right. Do you think you'll be able to kind of work this thing out and maybe figure out, a little bit more confidence with the car before we get to our next event?
I mean, hopefully, but I really excited for Road America because I feel like this car could really whip it around there. So hopefully by then we'll figure this car out and hopefully get some top fives.
All right, great fight out there. It looks like you had. We'd love to see more of those going forward. Now we'll round the broadcast talking with Vera. Vera, 8th, last of the drivers running on the lead lap. But I do want to say once again, thanks for being willing to host the event today. With Sunshine obviously not able to show up, what was that event like from your perspective?
It was good. The car behaved as I wanted it to, but I was exhausted trying to focus on everything I needed to do for hosting because I've never even raced a series before. I've only done endurances, let alone host. So, a little bit on my mind. And I also didn't practice this track. Why? I didn't want to compare my time to everyone else's.
Yeah, I can understand that. I will admit that I've had a few times where I've skipped practice just because I don't want to even know how far off I'm going to be. I do not fault you. Will we be able to see you in the next event, though, in 2 weeks' time?
Absolutely. I'm not going to let this get me down. Like, someone finishes last. I'm not last in the standings. I finished. I placed. I'm also in a car that excels at corners and not straight line speed. It's got the smallest engine here with, I think it's 320 horsepower. So I'm looking forward to the twistier, more technical tracks because I also feel like I can keep the car on the road a little bit better. It's good fun. And I'm looking forward to doing more.
All right. Well, thanks for jumping in and talking with us. It was great to have you here. And once again, thank you for hosting the event today. And that will wrap up our broadcast here for the first of our 7 races for Sunshine League's 1960s GP Series. Tomorrow, though, AGRL's F1 2022 Series will continue its run as they go to their 3rd race. And that's pretty much all that we're broadcasting on this channel for now. Until next time, I've been your host, InsaneLeader13. Thank you for joining us today, and goodbye.
I'm not going to die behind a lap car this time.